welcome back to Untitled Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, Prey. I did a trailer reaction video on the trailer for this film. And I said some things. Basically saying I'm going to have to watch this movie to figure out whether or not it's woke. I watched it 3 times today. 1, clean slate watch through, see if I enjoyed it. 2, to get the talking points down. 3, so it can stay fresh in my mind because I just got finished watching it again. And I gotta say, that reaction video, I have said some things that are very incorrect due to the fact that the trailer knocked a lot of things out of context. However, the question of whether or not am I wrong, is this movie woke? Yes, I am wrong. But also, no, I'm not. There are a few lines in this movie that I feel could easily have been done better. How you doing, Jacob Ironside? Good to see you. Also, before I continue further, smash that like button, share out the stream. I am shadow banned on Twitter, so my links will not be getting out to people. So please share out the stream, tag a bunch of people if you have to, let them know I'm live, and whatnot. But I am going to be getting into a spoiler-free review. As I do live reviews, I always do the spoiler-free first, and then the spoiler second. When you see the spoiler-free, I'm not talking spoilers. However, everything that is in the trailers, fair game. So, with that out of the way, let's get in on Prey. For the most part, this movie is straightforward. A predator has come to Earth, and it is hunting. And Naru is the female protagonist of this film, played by Amber Midthunder. I will say that she is actually very well done in this movie. Her acting in this movie, as is the acting throughout this movie of the other characters as well, are very good. However, there are problems with this movie. Some of the writing could have been done a lot better. I will get into the specifics of the writing later in this stream. How you doing, Ruben? And one of the things that I really liked about this movie is it brought back a horror element to the Predator franchises. Predator 1 and 2 had a horror element to them, where you were scared of what this creature was doing. The rest of the movies didn't really have that element, except for AVPR. As bad as that movie was, there was still a horror element in it, which was pretty good. This movie brought that back. It had its own score. It didn't recycle the score from the previous movies. There is one real callback, or 2 real callbacks to Predators 1 and 2. Both of those movies are considered canon now, as is this movie, which is a now prequel to the 87. Also, I do believe that there will be a sequel to this film, and I will explain later. So, the story is pretty much straightforward. She doesn't want to be a warrior. She wants to be a hunter. And they do drop that line in the trailer, why do you want to hunt? Because you all think I can't. Now, that could have easily been a different line. A different line basically because it would have taken away from the more perceived wokeness and it would have been a better line if it would have been something along the lines of because that is what I feel or because I feel that I can. Why do you want to hunt? Because I feel that I can do it. Giving her a better sense of less defiance and more of a sense of confidence in herself. This movie does a great job at showing that she is not a Mary Sue. All of her skills are earned. However, with the exception, because they do show it in the trailer, her with the tomahawk rope thing, she is very proficient at it right off the bat. Now that I would have changed. I would have at least shown her using it, starting to use it and whatnot, pulling it back and missing it at least once or twice, or having it smack her or something, just to show that she has to get around the learning curve, you know? Is she a Mary Sue? Is she so great at everything? Absolutely not. It shows in the trailer with the bear. A lot of people think that she's hunting the bear. I mistook that from the trailer. I was wrong about that in the trailer when I did my trailer reaction. I said that the predator stole the hunt from her because she was hunting the bear. And it's easy to mistake that because of the trailer. You're not getting the full context. However, I will get further into that in the spoiler section. Her brother, Tabe, they show in the trailer as being rather misogynist, rather dismissive of her. Honestly, that is a misdirect from the trailers. The trailers were incredibly misdirecting people from the movie. How you doing, Andrew? Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in and saying hi. Soul Assassin, good to see you as well. And yes, please do smash that like button and share the stream out. It helps the algorithm for my channel more than you know. Also, watch as long as you are able, please. The more watch time I get, the closer I get to being eligible for monetization. And also, it helps my channel get noticed more. Smashing that like button also does the same thing, folks. So please, please, please do so. I'm trying to get my content out there. So back to the review. Her brother is not as dismissive as the trailer suggests. The trailers, the marketing for this movie were done all wrong, to be 100% honest. The marketing for this film, the behind the scenes things, the original plot synopsis, all of that screamed woke. Where she's challenging the gender norms, where she's rebellious, and her original name was supposed to be Ki, which means no in Comanche. And then they changed it to Naru. Thankfully, they did that. However, this film, if there is any wokeness, it's about 5% of the film. And I will say that because there is some writing in this film that could have been so much better. The dismissive attitude of her fellow hunters and whatnot, the men, they were being outright misogynist in this film. They were being outright sexist, where they could have been, or they could have handled it much differently. I mean, there's one, it's like, we don't need you here. We're not going to be out longer or long enough for needing you to cook. And it's like, are you fucking serious right now? I mean, seriously, what was the point of that line? Small spoiler. Now, her brother does embrace her talent. Her brother does embrace her skill. Her brother is supportive of her, and I absolutely love that. However, he also does get slightly dismissive after a certain situation. Now, if you have seen the trailers, you know that there's a scene with somebody or with her and a spear in a tree with a mountain lion. That scene was very interesting, and you will actually see a pattern here, folks. When this predator arrives, there are some differences with the whole redesign, with the whole look of the predator. You also see differences in the cloaking and whatnot. Now, they say that it could be because it's 300 years in the past and they hadn't perfected the technology. However, we know that to be completely bunk. Gotta wash these glasses a million times, I swear. Better. However, this predator, where they said it's the first time the predators are coming to Earth, that is a lie. Dan Trachtenberg actually had to clarify that this is the first time this predator is on Earth, and it really does express that very well. This predator is learning to hunt, or is learning to hunt the bigger game, the bigger, shall we say, prey. Now, when it comes to cinematography and other things, they're also very well done. There we go. Oh, it's a muggy day, so I have a fan on above me and it's barely doing anything. Holy crap. But anyway, sorry about that. This predator is basically going from small fry prey to human. And so you know that this predator is blooded by the lore. They actually expand on the lore in this film. That is one of the things I do like. However, there is also the element that this film may confuse people because of the different looking predator. I actually do agree with Mr. H reviews on this. They need to stop redesigning the predator and doing their own thing with it. They need to focus on the same look to keep that design down pat. If they can do that, this film would have been infinitely better. The build of the actor who played the predator, Diego Deliego or something like that. Hey, Vanja, good to see you. Junebug, also good to see you. I'm not sure if I want to watch this, maybe. Honestly, Junebug, if you like the first and second Predator movies, this movie is actually very good. It's a return to the horror element. And by no means is this movie as woke as the marketing suggested. They've been getting the mandibles wrong since the second film. Yeah, they allowed the mandibles to open wider in the second Predator film. I will say that, and they've only been getting even wider and wider. However, they also did have less ability to move the mask for the first one. They wanted to show that these things could emote. So having it out further, well, that's all well and good, but I still like the original look better, and you could still have its mouth done right, you know? The cloaking that they show with this predator, they got the cloaking wrong. I feel that they have done differently with the cloaking, and that it has been very, how should I put this? It could have been done better because there are some scenes where the Predator's in there and yet it's cloaked to such perfection you literally can't see it, but you need to see it in certain ways or in certain scenes, like when it's chasing her Naru and one of her tribesmen through the long grass. You kind of want to see it a little bit more easier. The laser guided projectile, I actually got that right in that trailer reaction that I did that got 2.5k views. Also had an attempted ratio on it, which was funny. This cloak looks more like a shield than optical camouflage. Yes, going back to The Predator, that god-awful 2018 film, where that shield that around the ship looked or had a hexagonal pattern, so does the cloaking on this Predator. You can actually see in high definition that it has cloak, or it has the or it has that hexagonal pattern. Had to move to my camp because the app for some reason wasn't giving me the option to comment. Oh, okay. Or computer. Jade Shadow, good to see you. That was weird. But yes, this movie is it suspenseful again? It does have some suspense, yes. It does have some, or the cutting in this film could have been a little bit better. The editing. However, this film does actually a good job at telling the story. I really did enjoy this film. Like I said, there are a few lines in here that they could easily rewrite to make them less on the nose. There's even the the tribute line, "If it bleeds, we can kill it." This was actually used in this film, and I'm like, in the context of the conversation, because she says, "I don't know if this thing can be killed," and then her brother says, "If it bleeds, we can kill it." Now, it is a good tribute line. However, they did a good job at separating this movie from the first movie. So I would have used a similar line. "If it bleeds, it can be killed. I don't know if we can kill this thing. If it bleeds, it can be killed." That, I feel, would have been better writing. It's reminiscent enough to the original line from Schwarzenegger in the first movie. However, it's its own line because this is not tied too directly to the first movie. If anything, this movie is tied more directly to the second movie because of a certain object, which I will reveal in the second, or in the spoiler review. But yes, cinematography for the most part is great in this film. The digital effects could have been a little bit more. I still don't buy entirely her use of the rope on the tomahawk. Yes, like I said, honestly, if they would have had a couple of shots with her missing the tomahawk, or having it smack her in the face or something, cutting her hand because she missed it, or something like that, I feel that it would have made it more believable with the tomahawk and the rope that is made. Jesus Christ, Happy. Talk about knocking me right out of my freaking train of thought, dude. Pocahontas, get over here! But yes, if they would have had a couple of trial and errors with the tomahawk and rope, it would have made that so much better. But a lot of people say, "Oh my God, she is such a badass and whatnot, and she's going to be a Mary Sue." No, she actually isn't. She has to earn this freaking victory, man. She does. Now, there is a certain amount of plot armor, sure. I mean, there's a part in the fight where she literally gets bodily slammed down onto the ground. That would have knocked the damn wind out of her. But you gotta give it to her. She is pretty much a very skilled combatant. I mean, she even gets into a fight with one of the guys, but I'm not going to get too much into that until the spoiler section. They made good use of Dolby Atmos in this movie. Yes, they did. I gave it a 6 out of 10. The Predator looked more to what we expect. The cloaking, I would have rated it higher. Story was great. Yeah, it was. To be completely honest, this story was great. I am wrong in my original thoughts of this film, but I do blame the marketing. The marketing is what is supposed to grab an audience, folks. If it doesn't grab the audience, if it pushes the audience away, well, you're then going to have to go on blind faith to see if the marketing was done wrong. And the marketing for many movies have been kind of rather shitty lately. I mean, Birds of Prey, I went off on that movie, and I'll fully admit I was wrong on that one too. That movie isn't as woke as it could have been, but they marketed the hell. If people would learn to shut up in interviews, if they would stop having to say, she's got to challenge the gender norms and whatnot. She's not challenging, first off, the gender norms. Believe it or not, in Native American society, some of the women, if they decided to try doing something more outside of their wheelhouse, believe it or not, they were encouraged mostly so that if they did fail, they can understand why they are expected to do something else. However, there were female warriors in Native American culture. That is historically shown. So it is not too much of a stretch for this girl. Why do you want to be a hunter? She wants to be a hunter, not a warrior. But yes, for the most part, this film was done well. The acting. The one thing I will say they should have actually done better is they should have put fucking subtitles in so we know what the hell they're saying in Comanche, so we know what the hell they're saying in French. I don't speak French. So these French fur people, I'd like to know what the fuck they were saying. And why is an Italian guy with the French fur trade? You'll understand what I mean going into the spoiler section of this film. Now, how she manages to fight this predator is actually another thing that I will jump into. You know what? In fact, I am going to go to the spoiler section now. For the most part, this movie is excellent. So if you guys do not want to be spoiled, better bow out now, because now I am jumping into spoilers. So it was marketing, articles, and interviews for this movie. Even the lead actress nearly turned me off when she stated the Predator was a side piece to the representation. Okay, that's just kind of stupid for Amber Midthunder to say. But yes, folks, as I said, the one Yautja gadget I didn't like was the shield. It was reminded of the eye-rolling moment in the Predator, where the super autistic Yautja just walks through bullets. I don't even want to think about that movie. It puts a bad taste in my mouth. Yes, I was like, subtitles, but yes. Holy crap, yes. Who cares what the French have to say? Fuck them. Yeah. So, folks, this is the Predator redesign. This is one thing that I am not a fan of. Look at this ugly motherfucker. This is one ugly motherfucker. Not gonna lie. This is uglier than any other Predator I have ever fucking seen. I mean, seriously. Well, I should probably get it off, so, yeah. Because that is just fucking ugly. Thankfully, you don't see it too much. I mean, thankfully, it has most of its mask on for most of the movie. And you get the face reveal. Sadly, you get the face reveal before the epic showdown. But it's like, oh my fucking god, that thing is just poor looking. But at least they offer a decent explanation as to why it looks different. In the interviews and shit, the director, Dan Trachtenberg, says this is from a different hemisphere of the planet that the Yautjas are, or their homeworld. Also, they're saying that this is its first time on Earth. Not the species' first time on Earth, but this particular predator. Now, this is actually expressed very well. When you have this predator hunting things on this planet, learning what is good prey and what isn't, you actually do a good job, or it actually does a good job. Starting with the small shit, like that's, or like a snake. And then you skin the snake, toss it off. Then you go to something like a wolf, and something like a bear. And then you get to the humans. You're working your way up. Now, there is a question of whether this predator was blooded or not, allowed to hunt humans. And I am guessing it is. They have not really expressed that very well in movies. That is comic and expanded lore. However, this predator does a good job with the hunting scenes. I like how it starts with the snake. Then it goes after a wolf that's chasing after a rabbit. Now, the scene where I said in my trailer reaction where this creature stole or steals the bear from Naru, I got that wrong. Because the context is, she actually comes up on this bear by accident. And because she's downwind, when the wind blows, the bear, or she draws her bow out of fear and is getting ready to kill the bear. She is looking for her opportunity for, what is it called? Her katamiya. A big hunt where you also are hunted by your own, or by the prey that you are hunting. It has to be able to hunt you back, essentially. It is a very dangerous hunt, is what she is looking for. And I do like how in the beginning of this movie, when she's hunting a whitetail, and she fails at that too. She fails a lot in this film, folks. That's why she's not a Mary Sue. You also get established, small things are established in this film. If he is blooded, he must have been a diversity hire that got through some kind of program. Oh, Jesus, dude. Was it just me, or did this predator look real lean or thin? Honestly, I like the body shape of this predator. I don't like the head. I like the body shape. The body shape was good. That was a more built predator that, instead of having a freaking bodybuilder predator like they did in freaking AVP and whatnot, the one in the AVPR was a little better, but this one was actually a decent body shape. I really liked it. But going back to some of the talking points here, you get the establishment of the fur trade, or the French fur trade, the FFT, were in the area because her dog gets injured in one of the traps. Its tail gets caught in one of the fur traps. And so it's like, okay, because she's also examining this trap because she's never seen it before. She even tries using a rock. That is some of the things I do like. It's a more primitive culture, seeing something that is beyond its understanding, you know? And I really do like how they handle this. Now, I like also how the sign in the sky, she thought it was the Thunderbird, which is an actual Native American legend. But we see that it's a predator ship traveling through the clouds. Now, the the title of this movie was god-awful. And it wasn't because of the writing, it was because of what was underneath the writing. Copyrights reserved. Or all rights reserved. It's like, you don't need that in a freaking title. I'm sorry, you don't. What the hell was that even put there for? You know? CJH. Was it like Last Jedi? No, it wasn't. There are some people that hate the movie, and I enjoyed this movie. I did not. This movie, if anything, was about 5% woke. 5% throwaway lines that could have just been easily tweaked to be something totally different, and it could have been so much better. But yes, her brother, Tabe, played by Dakota Beavers, he was great in this film. I really liked him. The Native American camp and the culture and whatnot, it didn't feel like a stereotypical trope, but that is going by a person who is ignorant in how their culture is. I wouldn't know. I also like how they establish what's called orange tutsia, which is a certain flower that bears importance later on in the film. I could see the foreshadowing early on that the orange plant was going to be used to beat the thermal vision. But how did Pocahontas figure out to do that and to trust it? Yes, you missed something. And I will explain that. The reason why, Epi, that she learned that it couldn't see him was because she gave Raphael the plant. And it was looking right at him and didn't react until it stepped on him, and then he reacted, he was alive, and then it kills him. And it reacted very violently because it didn't like that it couldn't see him, so that's why it killed him. She realizes it couldn't see him because it cools the blood. It cools your body temperature. However, it did cool her body temperature to the point where it could literally see through her in the scene where it shows it walking up to the French fur guy before the final battle. Also, her learning how to use a flintlock pistol. Yeah. The guy who gives her the pistol is Raphael Adolini. So, the Raphael Adolini pistol from Predator 2, 1715, is in this film. So, we need to now have a sequel to establish how this frickin' pistol gets into the hands of a predator. We need to have a movie where a predator wins the fight. And you know what? We need to have a film where the predator does kill everyone. Another thing that I really like is how indiscriminate this predator is. No, there are no Raphael Adolini's in the comics, which is not considered canon by way of Stieg. Shout out to Stieg Kenobi. 1718, the Predator 1718 comic. Raphael Adolini was a pirate who fought the Predator, but also then fought against ignoble pirates that were trying to cheat him out and kill him. And because he realized that this guy was noble or was honorable, it held on to a reminder of honorable behavior from a human. So that Predator would go on to be the one in the number 2 movie. However, it is changed slightly, yes. Raphael Adolini is in this film. He is an Italian in the French fur trade, who is used for linguistic purposes. Yeah. It was a bit confusing. I mean, I'm like, no, wait, that cannot be Raphael. When I saw the film, I'm like, okay, that I do have a problem with, because Raphael was he's Italian first. These are all French people. What the fuck? You know? However, I do like the inquisitiveness of this predator. How this predator is doing its tracking. How there's a herd of buffalo. I mean, you'd think that it was the predator that would have done it. However, you see a cigar by one of these predators, or by one of these buffalo. And it's like, oh, right, fur people. Lyndon's people, the furries. Shout out to you, Lyndon. Love you, buddy. Curious if they'll do Alien right in the TV show. According to some sources, they're not really going to do it right at all. Yes. To answer Mara's question, they do change Raphael Adolini's. They give him a movie debut. So that is now movie canon. Do I like the original lore better? Yes. The lore that was from the comics, yes, I do like that better. However, I would like to see where this will all go, because at the end of this film, they're doing the cave painting kind of animation stuff for the credits, and after they show that she has killed the predator in the cave paintings, they turn and look up, and there's there's basically a fleet of predator ships coming in. So you know that they are aiming for a sequel to this prequel, to be another prequel to Predator. Did you get all that? Let's see here. I already talked about the gender norms thing. The thing that I didn't like about the cloaking was that it wasn't affected by water. The cloaking of this predator seems imperfect in some ways, because you could see its weapon or its claw come out, and you could see that in certain ways the predator's cloaking is shorts out here and there. But as soon as it touches water, there's literally no short circuiting at all. That was weird. And you can either cough it up to movie mistakes, or it's slightly different technology from the cloaking that we know in future films. Now, let's see here. As explained, starting with it showing up, the orange Tetsuya. There's a scene where they have to go after one of her tribesmen because he got taken by a mountain lion. I honestly confess I got confused. It's like, wait, lion? What? Then I'm like, oh, frick, mountain lion. Can't believe I actually had to think about that. But she creates some medicine, and she gives him the orange Tetsuya, the orange Tootsie Pop plant, that thing. Sorry. Tetsuya. There you go. Tetsuya. He's complaining about being cold, and one of them goes to cover him, and she's like, no, if you cover him, his blood will heat up and he'll bleed out. And the guy who he shakes his head and goes to cover him again. She's like, would you rather him return home alive or dead and comfortable? So, yeah. That was a kind of stupid scene, because her brother had already told them, if we find him alive, she's a good tracker, and she knows medicine. So it's like, why would you discard what the person who knows more about medicine is telling you? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. That's just them trying to basically push part of the 5% wokeness. The orange Tootsie Pop sounds like an inappropriate act. How you doing, Brian? Good to see you, buddy. Now, after the whole fight with the mountain lion, because they end up going back to track the mountain lion, she ends up finding a track out there next to a dead mouse and a skinned snake. Now, the skinned snake was pretty freaking. That was a nice little gag, showing that creatures like snakes can still move even though they're dead. It was missing its head and it was skinned. So, you know it was the predator, because you also see the predator kill the damn snake and skin it. So, yeah. She has to go find her brother to warn him, because he's still tracking the mountain lion so that they can kill it. he ends up telling her, this is your katamia. This is your hunt. This is your moment. She fails. She fights the damn thing, gets a good stab into it, but she ends up falling out of the tree and hitting her head on a rock. So she fails her katamia, her hunt. She was brought back by her brother, who then goes out and kills the damn mountain lion and brings it back with its head severed, and he is made war chief. Now, I'm guessing war chief is a temporary position, considering that, well, what happens after she kills the predator? She becomes war chief as well because she brings its head back, and with her face all dolled up in predator blood makeup. But yeah. The conversation between her brother after the hunt, she's like, I can hunt. He's like, you're right. We didn't do it. I did it. And he tells her, you can't hunt. That's not woke, in my opinion. It's him telling her the honest truth of the perceived events that he had witnessed. He witnessed that she couldn't handle this hunt. She nearly died. She got injured. She had to be carried back. She didn't go back with the kill. Yeah. The predator hunting the wolf. I love how this fight between the wolf and the predator happens. This wolf was about to run off with its rabbit in its mouth, and then this predator who's looking at the wolf from this side, from the wolf's right, ends up in front of the predator, or in front of the wolf, to kick it as soon as it gets a hold of the rabbit on its left. So, yeah, there's that. And this wolf actually bites into its legs, and you can actually see the green blood on its teeth and on its fur underneath its jaw. So I love how that is good attention to detail. This movie does great attention to detail when it comes to blood versus this predator thing. And I love how the predator is hunting, or hunts the bigger game, slices up the wolf, and then slices off the head, pulls the spine, holds it thing up, and bellows. This is a first-time predator on Earth. This is this predator's first time on Earth, and it is just so well expressed. We then see that the technology for skinning has improved. We see the Predator in Predator 2 doing its skinning of King Willie's head. We see that it does certain things. There's certain things off screen, but that Predator never once sprayed it with something and melted off the skin and sinew and whatnot. So, yeah, this one just sprays the wolf's head and then puts its skull on its thing here, which comes to play later on, actually, in a pretty good scene. We then see Naru struggling in the mud, which is an establishment for later. I'm curious to see Critical Drinker's review. Honestly, I'll check it out. I have no idea what he says. But, yeah, her struggling in the mud, she actually has to try and get the hell out of this thing, and then she has to clean off herself because she just got all muddy. A lot of people thought she was going to use the mud to not be seen by the predator. Nope! Not what happens. The bear scene. Like I said, a lot of people thought that from the trailer reaction that she was hunting the bear. Well, that's not exactly the case. She comes across the bear, like I explained earlier, and the bear actually stops going after her at first. They cut it differently in the trailer, obviously, and this bear senses that something else is after it. And you see the fight between this bear and the cloaked predator, the feral predator. The bear was hunting her, yes, exactly. So this was a perfect chance for this predator to come in. I was wrong, folks. I was wrong in my trailer reaction when I said that this predator was stealing a hunt from Naru. No, that wasn't the case. However, I am right about the lore that you do not steal another's hunt, which is also expressed in this film. So, yeah, this movie was very fucking badly marketing. He did it in part 1. Did what, Andrew? If you're talking about stealing a hunt from somebody, I would really like to know what. The bear fight between this predator. I really like how it also rips into him and then comes up, or its face was in the water, but then comes up with predator blood just coming off of its jowls, the bear. And then it just starts walking away as the thing gets up, and then it looks back, it's like, what the fuck? You're not dead yet? So it then just gives it a huge punch, breaking its neck, and then she sees it and she walks away. I also want to go back and translate what the predator scroll on the side of the screen is for that, or for certain things. Now, the fight between her and the other tribesmen, when they are coming looking for her and whatnot. Do they do it in part 1? They do, but that was already after the skull was extracted from the flesh, Andrew. So maybe it got rid of all the impurities and whatnot. Who knows? I think the bear was actually the most formidable enemy in this movie. No, actually, I will disagree with you there. Strongest enemy, sure, but definitely not the most formidable. Honestly, I think that Naru and her brother were the most formidable. So, the Tri-Laser having an ability to separate, where you got the you have the three predator dots. They can actually spread and go their different ways. It's okay, Andrew. Better to be safe than sorry. And how the predator's mask, its biomask, which a lot of people think is a skull. It's actually metal. It's actually not so much a skull. But this predator is able to use the lasers to go either together like this or to spread out and do different things and hit different areas. And it shows that with one of the Comanches that it kills, because it has separate spots, one down in the gut, one up further, and one through the eye socket. And then you see it take on... I mean, this thing is brutal, folks. It kills indiscriminately and brutally. And it really does go brutal against the Comanche when the Comanche go after it. But the Comanche also fight it smart as well. You see one Comanche warrior go down with his spear, stabbing it in the foot. It has a telescopic spear, but can also be split into two different weapons. The cloak, or the technology of this predator, is very different from the predators that we all know. How it can cloak without touching its gauntlet. How it can use its, or activate or suppress its weapons without touching its gauntlet. That is something that is interesting. However, it could be a mistake, or a movie mistake, because there's the scene in the final battle where she is going after the predator with its own spear. And this predator, at the beginning of this fight, she'd learned to use the flintlock pistol and she shoots the Predator in the back of the head to blow off its mask, but to also shoot it in the back of the head because she saw that when another person tried shooting the Predator in the face, the bullet killed the other guy because it bounced or ricocheted right back at him. Silly in a way, but yes. Now, when it comes to the final battle, this Predator chops off its own arm in confusion because it got shot in the head, in the back of the head and up the top. So there is slight brain damage to this Predator but it's still able to maintain its hunting prowess. Now, it uses its shield to deflect, or it gets stuck with its claws in a tree, and then it uses its shield, which is razor sharp, and deflects and accidentally slices off its own arm. And you see that it doesn't really react too much. I'm guessing because so much adrenaline from the headshot and whatnot, it's not, or didn't really react. However, that is also more of a movie mistake because when it's getting shot or hit with the tomahawk and other things, it does kind of react. Tabe, her brother, versus the Predator. I love how he is actually using the horse, and then he's running. He's keeping mobile to stay away from the Predator so that it can't get a good hit on him. And he pulls an arrow out of the Predator and shoots it back, pulls it out, shoots it back when he runs up to the Predator. So yes, each targeting laser corresponds to a different spear. Yes, it has three physical projectile spears that it can shoot. And the laser targeting reticule on this Predator's mask is flawed because it will track the lasers. It will not track what the lasers are locked onto. So that is a flaw in the Predator's weaponry that Naru actually observes and uses to her advantage. She gets this Predator to blow off its own head with its weapon. And I gotta say, that's pretty ingenious, too. I mean, like I said, she earns her kill. All of the stuff that she brings to bear against this Predator is stuff that she observed. She goes after it smart. And I will fully freaking admit, again, that I was wrong in my assumptions of how a 110-pound soaking wet girl is going to take on a Yautja. I was wrong, folks. I was wrong. Okay? Copy this, clip it. There you go. I was fucking wrong. This film did this in a way that was actually acceptable and believable. To a degree. I mean, like I said, the rope tomahawk thing, it could have been done better. If I could criticize one thing in this movie, it would be the silly kills, like the ricochet. Yes, the ricochet kill. That was stupid. However, the Predator getting its own head blown off earns only after they make the Predator retarded. The Predator was weakened in order to be killed. But you know what? Like I said, she did this smart. Now, she could have easily pointed that pistol just a little bit lower and just ended the whole damn thing right there. But she wanted this to be a hunt. Now, there is one unrealistic part of this fight where she gets choke slammed by the Predator, where the Predator lifts her up and slams her down. That would have been it for her. She would have gotten decapitated by the Predator from its shield like it did with the guy, or one of the guys from the French fur trade when they were using her and her brother for bait. Another thing I really liked is that this Predator immediately abandons hunting her earlier in the film when she gets caught by one of the fur trade traps. Because her foot gets stopped, and while, yes, it was hunting her, it's like, I can't kill you now. You've just been caught in some other person's... I can't kill you, so I'm going to leave you alone. There will be another time. But yes, this movie had great moments. And while there are some moments where they could have easily chosen better lines, I think that this movie, objectively, we're going to get to the scores now, objectively, this film is about an 8.5 out of 10. There's some CGI problems. There's some writing issues. There's some problems with the logistics of what we know about predators and their cloaking. Subjectively, I would put this movie at about a 9 out of 10. I enjoyed this film, folks. I will fully admit I was wrong about my earlier criticisms to this film, but however, I will admit that I am correct in that marketing sucks for this film. If Dan Trachtenberg ever does see this movie or this review, please learn from your mistake with this. You did good with this movie, but you gotta market your film better if you get put in charge of another Predator film. Also, stop redesigning shit! It was more bodily acceptable, yes, but the redesign of this Predator was not good. That was my... Folks, this is what we got in this film. Again, if I have to see it, you have to see it. That's the ugly motherfucker. That's the feral predator. It wasn't woke, but it damn sure wasn't good. Resolute Germ, that's your opinion. Subjectively, I give this movie a 9. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Were there parts that I didn't like? Absolutely. That's what takes away from the point, or takes away a point. However, I thought that this film was pretty well done, even by objective standard. The score is forgettable. Can't remember the score to save my life. However, casting, directing, when she's openly defying going out hunting instead of joining the rest of the women, you see that look of guilt and determination on her face. She feels guilty because she's defying what she's supposed to be doing, but however, she feels determined too. That's good direction from the director telling the actor how to react and whatnot. That's very well done. There was good... Trachtenberg did a wonderful job directing this film. However, there are parts that could have been better, like when she's using the tomahawk. Give a little bit of trial and error there. It would have made it more believable. Now, is she a Mary Sue by any sort of reading? No, she isn't. As for moviegoer, this movie is a 10 out of 10. I enjoyed this movie. I didn't check my watch. I didn't check the time. I didn't check to see how far it was in the film. This film is a 10 out of 10 from moviegoer, meaning not breaking it down. This film was good. And I believe that it should have the sequel so we can resolve the Raphael Adolini pistol. Also, we need a Predator film where everybody dies and the Predator is victorious, because we need that for the Raphael Adolini pistol. We need to have this Predator get this as a trophy, you know? Anyway, folks, the pacing of the film is good. 90 minutes is the sweet spot. Well, yeah, this film was very well paced. Anyway, that is going to be my live review. I fully admit I was wrong, folks. And you can quote me on that. You can even clip me in this thing if you want. I was wrong, but the marketing was also wrong to do what it did. Anyway, thank you so much to everybody. Mar Jade, Resolute Germ, Epi the Oz, Andrew, 1977 Oz. Who else? Junebug, good to see you. CJH, thank you for dropping in. Brian versus the World, thank you for dropping in. Jacob Ironside, thank you for being in here. Who else? Soul Assassin, thank you for modding. And Big O, thank you so much for coming in. Sorry I didn't see it. Eastland Burkholder and Vanja, thank you for coming in. Who else was in here? Netcat Media, thank you for stopping in. Ruben Thomas, thank you for stopping in. Thank you to everybody stopping in, and leave a like on your way out. Share it out for the replay, folks. Anyway, y'all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What did you think of Prey? Did you like it? Did you not? What was your favorite parts? What were the things you didn't like? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below, folks. This has been Orange Hat Reviews. Stay humble.